What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. We are dealing with the ramifications of Jerry Jones's actions, and maybe it's not all his fault. Let's just hear me out for a second here. Hear me out for a second. I think I understand what the problem is, okay? Jerry Jones, much like a lot of us Cowboy fans, is living in the past. You see him refer to things that he has done in the past over and over again, not realizing that times have changed. When I was, my first job was going up with my dad. I had my Aunt Mabel, who her husband had died in the 60s, and it was elderly. She had a lot of land. And I would go up on the weekends, and I would cut the grass. And I'm talking, it would take 6 hours to cut the grass on a tractor, and doing whatever it took. And every year she would always say, well, you know, you're not going to have to worry about it next year because I'm not going to be here. I think I heard that for at least 15 years. But I remember like coming back from college, and I would go over and do work and stuff for her. And, you know, I'd go over, hey, Aunt Mabel, how you doing? Well, you're not going to have to worry about this, you know, next year. I won't be here. Okay. And, you know, she'd pay me, and then she would say, well, here's 25 cents so you can get a soda on the way back to school. 25 cents. And even though my dad would go, you know, get her groceries and everything else, she would say, well, here's 50 cents so you can take care, you know, for your time and for gas. She was still living back in 1950. And it was okay. We understood. She was living in 1950. Okay, like I couldn't buy a soda for 25 cents. It was like $1.50, which is cheap right now. I wish it was $1.50. And so that's her perspective. And I think this is Jerry Jones, because he honestly feels like Micah Parsons has done him wrong. He's done him dirty. We had a deal, man. We had a deal because he's living in the past. And here's where Jane Slater asked him about his deal. Hey Jerry, how's it a deal without something in writing? Let's go to the tape.
It's my understanding nothing was put in writing. So how would you describe a deal getting, so to speak, done and then walked away from?
I bought the Dallas Cowboys with a handshake. Took about 30 seconds, and I gave the number, shook hands. The details we worked out later. As a matter of fact, one of the details involved a lot of money, and we had to flip a coin over that. But the fundamental, I'm buying, and you're going to sell it to me for that range, that's done. And those are done with eye contact and handshake.
So was there...
So just so you understand why the way that I communicate with people that I negotiate with. So but let's leave it at that. There is no question that in the case of a player contract, you have to have it in writing. All parties do. We have a contract in writing, yet we're still talking about renegotiating it. So much for that.
So what's the sticking point for you right now at this point?
Again, there are no point. There's points of varying degrees of influencing, not having something done, but nothing that I would say is out of the ordinary.
Okay, so wait. Okay, first of all, Micah Parsons wasn't born when you made a deal to buy the Cowboys in 1988. Okay? He was not alive. And I can guarantee you that, you know, when Microsoft is buying or, you know, hiring somebody and things like that, they get a contract with the nobody does business with a handshake these days. Nobody. Especially in a business that says you have to have an agent to negotiate with. But Jerry Jones, here's where Jerry Jones, it all makes sense now. In his mind, well, Emmett missed the first 2 games and everything else, and we won the Super Bowl. Because he's living in the past. Because in his mind, if I just do the things that I did before, it will work. I bought the Dallas Cowboys with the handshake. So when I told Micah Parsons, here's what we're going to do, and he shook his head, that was as good as in writing. Bro, back when you bought the Cowboys with the handshake, we used to leave our front doors unlocked. Back when you bought the Dallas Cowboys, we went outside without a cell phone and ran the neighborhood all day long without checking in with mom. All we knew was we better make sure our butt is in the house before the street light comes on. That, my friends, was a different world where there was not a salary cap, where you could spend as much money as you wanted to on the players and so on. And this is where you start to understand why he would always gravitate for, older coaches like Mike Zimmer, and why, some of the coaches, because it's familiarity. As you get older, you want things that are familiar to you around you. Jerry Jones used to take risks. He used to be the guy that I didn't worry about. I mean, why are you worried about how much money you're spending on Micah Parsons right now and how much you spend on these players? Because here's the reality, Jerry. All the money that you've spent and lost on these players, in the grand scheme of things, it's all the part of doing business. And guess what? Your business is making a hell of a lot of money, more money than anybody else. So it's not been wasted money, even when you've had contracts that didn't work out well. Didn't. You were still making money. That is called shrinkage. That's loss. Sometimes you have some losses. But what you're doing right now, living in the past, is screwing the Cowboys' future. This is no joke right here. Jerry Jones does not have it anymore to be in charge of the Dallas Cowboys if it's about winning. If it's about going out his way, well, okay. But we're seeing Al Davis 2.0. Just win, baby. Just win. I literally can't believe it. Hey, I'm going to make a deal with the player. I'm going to make a deal with the player. It's not in writing. It's not in writing. No. I could tell by the look in his eyes and the smile on his face. We had a deal, and he reneged on it. There was no deal. He said, call my agent. Talk to him. Get the details done. And now he refused. Oh, hell no. We had a deal. And he's still talking about we had a deal. Guys, Jerry ain't right no more. He ain't right no more. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.